Hey guys, Angel here, back at it again with another episode of me. Today I did a podcast episode. If you want to check it out on Spotify, it's under Angel Universal. I just did a video about moon energy and how to harness it and how to use it to our greatest abilities. And since we are nature and we reflect in nature as well as nature reflects in us. So what I had done during the summertime, the light half of the year, is I created this moon water. It was actually an idea from my best friend. And then have you ever had those experiences where someone teaches you something or tells you something and then it just kind of sounds familiar for the first feeling, and then you feel like, oh wow, like that actually sounds really right and that feels right. Then it's like when it was introduced to me originally, it's like I have my initial feelings about it, and then as I was going through the process of creating it, it just kind of reminded me of like different flashbacks and visions of just me doing it previously in other lives. A lot of the time when we feel deja vu, or when we feel like, wow, this weirdly feels like it makes sense and that this is right for me, usually that's just an indication that you've lived it before in a past life. It's an energy that you are familiar with. Don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt the feeling. Connect as deeply as you can with whatever you are feeling that with, because at the end of the day, that's our journey here, is to reconnect to who we are at the core, who we are as a divine human being. And part of these, what may seem like silly rituals, actually give us the greatest of powers. A lot of the time people ask me, like, how do you look so joy-free? Or joy-free? We want joy, right? Joyful and carefree. A lot of the time it's because I'm working with nature, because I'm working with myself, because I'm doing active work behind the scenes, whether you see it or not, on healing myself. And this is one of them. So I wanted to share this. This original water has river water that I harvested from this river that we were going to a lot. That was another thing, to choose a water from a place that really meant something to me, that filled me with good joys, with good love, compassion. That river washed away a lot for me. My own body problems, my body dysmorphia. That was like my first time in a two-piece in public. Like, there's just a lot of beauty, a lot of cleansing that happened in the water that I gathered. So I always kind of highly suggest, like, do it in some water that has some meaning. So all of these elements should have some kind of deeper meaning, and everything is done with intention, whether you try to or not. So it's best to focus that intention to be loving intention, compassionate intention, forgiving intention. Just like you're gonna forgive me for clumsily speaking through this video because of the moon. The moon energy is so strong, guys, and it's been messing with me for like a long time. So we're at the end of it and back into another phase. So in this water specifically, it's that river water. I use sage ash from my little sage shell ashtray thing. I'm sure there's a word for it, but I don't remember. Sage is very cleansing. It's purifying. I liked that it was the ash because it's kind of, that remnants of the work that you've done. It's the traces left over from it. And it's also, like that beautiful saying, when the phoenix rise from the ashes, like, that's what we are constantly doing. We're constantly dying and rebirthing ourselves. And whether we realize it or not, it's hard work. And it's tiring. It's exhausting. And anything that we can do to harness that power and not let it drain us, I think we should go towards. So, yeah, sage, ash. And then I also gathered some, I think it was cedar and pine, like plants that stay all year round. Including like the dark half of the year. So I created the dark half of the year during the light half of the year. so that I can maintain that balance. Yeah, and then I just kind of, I also put seashell in it because seashell is very important for empath intuitive, actually. The hardiness that the shell has, we also need to imbue that hardiness within ourselves, within our soul, mind, body, all of it, because at the end of the day, we are very sensitive humans, and just like a crab with a shell, we have soft meat on the inside, and we need to have a protective covering on the outside to guard that soft meat. So, this is part of my shell. This is part of my protection for the year. And honestly, just to have it, I put it on my little altar. An altar is any place that you put things that you love, things that invoke joy and happiness within you. That is an altar. Put it next to doors so that you feel that good energy whenever you come through the door. It's also good for exits so that when people are leaving, it cleanses that energy as they're going out. Speaking of cleansing, I just wanted to do a little PSA for my empaths and intuitives. Cleansing is super important. It is so monumental in our ability to maintain our sanity throughout all these crazy times, the pandemic, life, family, relationships, all of it. So make sure that if you are an empath intuitive specifically, I think every person should do this, empath or not, but specifically empaths and intuitives, please, please, please cleanse yourself, because it will be life-changing. I promise. Better sleep, better patience. A lot of the time I find myself a shorter temper if I don't sage myself too much or not enough, overly frustrated. And a lot of feelings that you feel like, I don't even know where these are coming from. They feel so random. Yeah, sage them out of you. It's important. So moving on to what I'm making for the dark half of the year, but it's to represent the light half of the year, and it's some things that I've gathered as well. I have freshly harvested rainwater from my local Washington area. Just ironically, it's legal to do this, well, in large amounts, but that's so crazy, man. Let's make some change. I am ready for it. It's ridiculous. Can't harvest my own elements. Whatever. Do what I want. And then this is just plants that I gathered from summer, from the light half of the year. Different flowers that I dried and made into like a potpourri. Some other bushes and trees that I had around my garden area. Anything that it was from my home, so that was very important for me. Everything that I gathered was either from a friend, family, or home, and so it's very grounding for me. This was more focused on the outdoors so that I can call on the outdoors when I'm stuck in indoors. And this is also to invoke the love, compassion, the patience that I've had within these last 6 months, and to culminate it all into this beautiful little mixture that I've created for myself. Yes. Oh, and I just dropped some, but it's okay. I know, like, beautiful little smoke up into the air, and a lot of it's because I also put sage ash in this because I want to create that protection, that cleansing energy all throughout the year, as well as my seashell, which it like caused my little pestle to break, but it's okay. So yeah, and then I also put like a little piece of my sage that fell off. It just felt like sometimes I will get a certain element and then I'll feel like, oh, I know where you're going. You're going here, aren't you? And I didn't feel like the timing was quite right yet, so I'm here. Yeah, let's keep going. All right, so what I did was I've already started to kind of mash this up. I guess I'll just be careful because you got a lot of craziness going on. And it's kind of like therapeutic, you know? Just, this like little smoke comes up. You just get this all mashed in. How y'all doing? Y'all doing great? This is one of the many crazy things that I do to maintain my happiness. And And you know, everything's gonna look different for everyone else. Honestly, just use your intuition. Everyone has intuition. Sometimes it's turned up a little bit higher for some other people than others. And that is okay. Sometimes we go through things in life that causes us to actually like block our abilities, which is what happened to me. I had a lot of traumas happen throughout my life that caused me to essentially just shut myself down. As a child, I understood a lot that I never understood why I understood it, which is really scary, especially for a kid. As a kid, I saw a lot of things like entities, ghosts, things like that would talk to me. Oh. See, and then I just want to point out that little things happen where they can be frustrating. Like this broke, and this was like my new pestle and mortar that I was super excited about. And I was really bummed out about it because it's like the first time I really got to use it. And then, but I have this little piece, right, that's left over that I just found while I was crushing it up in here. And it's 11:11 on my clock. And then it reminded me that like sometimes things happen because they're meant to happen. This was taken off of this because at the end of the day, this is my tool for divination. This is my tool for healing now. These are my tools for healing now. And this needs to be incorporated in this because now it's gonna, Goosebumps just talking about it. Yes. Because now this is an integral part of my healing too. So now it's just gonna take a little bit of this, put it up in there, and now I'm a little less sad about it because now I just know that it had a purpose. Everything has a purpose, guys. Okay, and then you're gonna see if everything's kind of crushed up enough. I think that was kind of like good enough for me, to be honest. I'll just shove it through my little funnel, really. And then take this and put the dry matter in first. It causes the mixture to be better, be easier. I'm gonna stick this whole twig up in there. Yep. On that first one, I think I also did dirt. I think that's also why it's so dark. Sometimes funnels work, sometimes they don't, I'm finding out. Depending on how large your plant matter is, it may not. Like I just had a whole twig stuck up in here. Part of me is just like, well, just shove that in there. Clean that baby up later. Because I'm all about embracing the imperfections of it all. And, you know, as humans, we are messy. We make messes. But the beauty of humans is what we also usually are able to identify how to clean our messes up. But that's not always easy either. Oh, almost put it in there. So, all we have, oh, it's a piece of shell. Which problems? Shell stuck in there, but it's okay. Yeah, as I was saying, humans do a pretty good job of identifying what needs to be cleaned up so that we can move forward, move on. But it's not always perfect. It's not always a clean, straight line. Sometimes we drop things. Sometimes we break things. I always break things. But everything's impermanent. And that is the beauty of life at the end of the day, is the impermanence of it all. Everything is temporary. Nothing was created to fully last, not even us as human beings. So, shouldn't we cut each other like more slack because of that? Sometimes I feel like we are so critical of everyone else around us and everything around us. Let's see, I just need to get rid of the bane of my existence. Solving problems. That's what I'm saying. That's what humans do. And we are capable. We are smart. We are full of love. We are full with the ability to unconditionally love, which is an amazing thing, because that is one of the hardest things to achieve in this lifetime, being a human being living on earth, is this idea of unconditional love. Because a lot of the times when we are taught how to love in the first place, the love that we were given was usually had conditions on it, right? Like, I only love you if you keep me happy. I only love you if you tell me what I want to hear. I only love you if you do what I say you have to do. And usually, that's not the healthiest example of what love is. Sometimes love is loving someone at a distance with boundaries. Sometimes love is sacrificing things for the other person. Sometimes love is removing yourself from someone's life. That's love. Sometimes it's the ultimate form of love, because you realize that they deserve something else, something better. You deserve something else, something better, and that's okay. There's a lot of that going on in life right now. A lot of reflection on who you're with, who's in your life, who you're giving time and energy to, what job you're giving time and energy to. It's a crazy time. But be easy on yourself. Just know that everyone's going through it. You're not alone. I think that's one of the biggest things I can help people with, is showing people they aren't alone. Because that's the hardest part of it all, isn't it? Feeling like you're alone. And then now I've got my dry matter in here, my little funnel. Now I'm just gonna pour that baby in that rainwater. Just leave like a little space. Honestly, so the way these are, it's like a little more than this. Kind of wanted it to be even, but fear not. Just use my fingers to strain it, because like life doesn't have to be perfect. This doesn't have to be perfect. A lot of the time we just put so much stress on ourselves to make everything perfect, and usually it's half the time not really even worth it. It's just something we needed to pass through, pass forward, move through, so that we can get to the good stuff, right? The stuff that matters. So these are my two mixtures. This is my so for the light half of the year, you can tell because I have a lot more flowers in there. This is more like shrubs and bushes and trees. And this is like straight up beautiful flowers I was gifted to from my partner, from my friends. So it was beautiful energy. I always mess it up, but it's Newton's law. Energy can only be created, not destroyed. So where do you think all that energy goes? Whenever you feel angry about something, where does that energy go? Whenever you feel happy about something, where does that energy go? It all matters. So I hope you guys enjoyed this wonderful video. I'm gonna figure out how to make it maybe more interesting. So I hope you have a wonderful day, month, week, year, all of it. I love you guys so much. Beautiful humans. Have a great day.